The alien boys whisper in the dark. The mining colony was always loud during the day. Machines roared, lights blinked, and workers shouted. But at night, it was too quiet. The metal walls groaned from cold winds outside, and the long tunnels echoed with silence. Jack, a middle-aged human engineer, was walking back to his quarters. His boots echoed on the floor. He was tired, covered in dust, and just wanted to sleep. But then, he heard something strange. A sound. Very soft. Almost like crying. He stopped. Jack looked around. The corridor was empty. Lights flickered overhead. Then he heard it again. A tiny sob. Then a whisper. "Please, someone help my mother." Jack froze. He turned toward a dark hallway. There, hiding behind a broken pipe, was a small alien boy, thin, dirty, and shivering. Jack slowly stepped closer. "Hey." "It's okay," Jack said gently. "Are you hurt?" The boy didn't answer. His eyes were big and filled with tears. He looked scared but also desperate. "My mother is sick. She cries every night. No one helps us. Please, human, please," the boy whispered. Jack's chest tightened. He could have walked away. It wasn't his problem, but he didn't. "Take me to her," Jack said. The boy nodded and turned. He walked fast, leading Jack through narrow, cold hallways. Most workers didn't even go to this part of the colony. It was old, full of rust and leaking pipes. Finally, they reached a small storage room. The boy stopped. He looked at the door, and then at Jack. "She's inside," he said, voice barely a whisper. Jack opened the door. The room was dark. No heater, no food, just one broken light. And there, lying on a pile of old blankets, was the boy's mother. She was an alien woman, tall, slender, with grayish-purple skin. Her eyes were closed. She was breathing, but barely. Her hands were cold and thin. Jack knelt beside her. "She's burning up," he said, touching her forehead. "How long has she been like this?" The boy sat beside his mother, holding her hand. "Since my father died," he said. "After he was gone, no one helped us. The others say we are weak. They say she should be silent." Jack felt anger in his chest. "Where is your food?" "Gone." "Water?" "Just a little." Jack opened his backpack. He gave the boy a protein bar, a bottle of clean water, and a thermal blanket. "Here, wrap this around her." The boy did as he was told, his small hands shaking. Jack gave her some sips of water. The woman groaned weakly but didn't wake up. Jack looked around. There was no medicine, no supplies, nothing. "This is no place for a sick person," Jack said. He took out his comlink and tried to contact the med unit, but there was no signal in this part of the colony. He sighed. The boy looked up at him. "Will she die?" Jack looked at the mother, then back at the child. "Not if I can help it." That night, Jack stayed with them. He gave the boy some soup from his own ration pack. He cleaned the mother's wounds with water and cloth. He made a heater, using spare wires and battery packs. The boy finally spoke more. "My name is Leo," he said. "Nice to meet you, Leo," Jack replied. "What's your mother's name?" "Her name is Sarvia." Jack nodded. "Your mom is strong. She just needs some help. Now?" Leo stared at Jack for a long moment. "No one else came," the boy said. "You're the only one who listened." Jack didn't know what to say. In his mind, he kept thinking, why did no one help them? As morning came, Jack prepared to leave to get real help. "I'll be back. Stay with her. Keep her warm," he told Leo. "Promise you'll come back?" the boy asked. Jack looked him in the eyes and said, "I promise." As he walked back into the brighter halls of the colony, Jack knew something was wrong with this place. A mother and child were dying in silence, and nobody cared. But now, he did. And he wouldn't. "Stop, no matter what. No one cares," But the human stays Jack moved fast through the corridors of the mining colony. His face was serious. His boots were wet from a leaking pipe, and the cold air bit through his clothes. He had one goal: get help for Sarvia, the alien mother dying, in that rusty storage room. He reached the control room where two alien guards stood laughing near a heater. Their uniforms were clean, their faces were bored. "I need medical help," Jack said quickly. "There's a woman, an alien, sick and starving near Section 12. Her son found me. They've been left to die." One of the guards raised an eyebrow. "So? That's not our problem, human." Jack frowned. "What do you mean, not your problem? She could die." "She's a widow," the second guard said with a shrug. "No husband, no job, no status. Not our concern." Jack stared at them in disbelief. "She has a child, a boy, alone, hungry, cold." The first guard leaned forward. "Then maybe she should have kept her mate alive." Jack's hands clenched into fists. He was angry, but he didn't swing. He turned and stormed toward the medical station instead. The medical unit was quiet. A sleepy alien nurse looked up at him. "I need supplies," Jack said. "Heat packs, food, medicine. A woman's dying." The nurse sighed. "What species?" "Zyron," Jack said. She slowly shook her head. "Zyrons aren't covered under colony aid. Sorry." Jack slammed his hand on the table. "She's a person. And her son is just a kid. Does that not matter to you?" The nurse shrugged. "If you want to help them, that's your choice, but don't expect the system to care." Jack grabbed what little he could, a small med kit and one water pouch, then walked away, heart heavy. Back in the dark storage room, Leo sat beside his mother. His small hands were trying to warm hers. Sarvia was still breathing, but very weak. Her lips were dry. Her skin looked pale and dull. Jack returned, knelt beside her, and gently opened the medkit. He cleaned a wound on her arm and placed a soft patch on her head to lower her fever. Leo looked up at him. "Did anyone say they'll help?" Jack shook his head. "No." "Not even one?" the boy asked. "No, Leo. Not even one." Tears welled up in the boy's eyes. He turned away, holding his mother's hand tighter. Jack reached into his own bag and pulled out the last protein bar he had. He broke it in two, gave half to Leo, and placed a tiny piece near Sarvia's lips. She didn't move. "Come on, Sarvia, just a bite," Jack whispered. Slowly, her lips twitched. She opened her mouth slightly and swallowed. Jack smiled for the first time that day. "That's it. You're still fighting." That night, Jack stayed again. He placed his jacket over Sarvia. He used a cracked pipe nearby to warm the air. He told Leo a short story about Earth, about trees and birds and rivers. Leo listened with wonder. "Is it really that beautiful?" "Yes," Jack replied. "And one day I'll take you there." The boy smiled. "Just a little." The next morning, Jack skipped his shift. The colony's loudspeakers called his name. "Worker Jack, report to duty immediately." He ignored it. Later, a human foreman came searching for him. "Jack, what are you doing? You're risking your job." Jack pointed to Sarvia. "She's more important." The foreman shook his head. "You're wasting your time. That alien woman is just another forgotten mouth." "She's a mother," Jack replied. "And her child still believes someone might care. I'm not about to prove him wrong." Ore. Foreman looked at the boy, skinny, silent, holding his sick mother's hand. He didn't say another word. He just left. That evening, Sarvia opened her eyes. Jack was still beside her. Leo had fallen asleep, curled up in his arms. Sarvia blinked slowly. Her voice was dry and broken. "You are not one of us," she said weakly. Jack leaned closer. "No, I'm human." "Then why are you here?" Jack looked at the sleeping boy. "Because no one else came." A tear rolled down Sarvia's cheek. The hidden past of the alien widow. Sarvia's eyes opened slowly. The fever had broken, but she still looked weak. Her fingers twitched as she tried to sit up. Jack quickly helped her, placing a soft roll of cloth behind her back. Leo rushed to her side, smiling with tired eyes. "Mother, you're awake," he whispered. She touched his face. "You stayed." The boy nodded and then looked toward Jack. He did too. Sarvia's eyes met Jack's. She blinked, confused, and asked, "Why? You're not one of us." "I didn't need to be," Jack replied. "You needed help. That was enough." Sarvia stared at him for a long moment, then nodded faintly. "You should leave," she said. Jack looked surprised. "Why?" "They will come," Sarvia whispered. "If they find you with me, they will punish you." "Let them try," Jack said firmly. Later that day, Jack brought fresh food packs and water he borrowed from other humans. He cleaned the room again and fixed the small heater. Leo sat close to his mother, who looked stronger now but still haunted. Then she spoke. "I haven't told anyone, not even my son. What really happened to my husband?" Jack paused. "I thought he died in a work accident." Sarvia looked down. "That's the lie they told everyone. He didn't die in an accident. He was killed." Jack's hands froze. "Are you sure?" he asked. Sarvia nodded. "My husband Varen discovered something in the mines, something illegal. He saw the foreman moving cargo that wasn't on the reports. Dangerous chemicals, blacklisted tech, weapons." Jack's heart beat faster. "He tried to report it?" "He tried," Sarvia said quietly. "But they silenced him. They said he fell into a shaft, but I saw his body. It was burned, but not by the machines. By plasma." Leo looked up, confused. "You said he got lost." "I lied, my little one. To protect you." Jack stood up and paced the room. "This changes everything. If your husband had proof." Sarvia shook her head. "He kept some files, but they searched our home and destroyed everything. After that, no one spoke to me. No one offered help. They said I should stay silent or I'd end up like him." Jack clenched his jaw. "And now they're trying to let you fade away. Quietly. No questions." He looked at Sarvia. "You still remember what he found?" Sarvia nodded. "Some of it. Enough to cause trouble." Jack's eyes narrowed. "Good. Then we caused trouble." That night, Jack used his old mining pass to access the archives. He sneaked through the dark tunnels with a flashlight, avoiding cameras. He entered the cold data room where dusty terminals blinked. He typed Varen's name. Access denied. Then he tried searching by date. No record found. Finally, Jack opened an old maintenance log and found a corrupted file. Varen's ID had been deleted, but the log showed his last location near Shaft 9. That same shaft was now closed for safety reasons. Jack took a picture of the screen. Someone didn't want anyone digging there again. When he returned, Sarvia was holding a small box. Her hands trembled as she opened it. Inside was a broken pendant. "This was his," she said. "He wore it every day. Before they came for him, he pressed something into it." Jack examined the pendant and found a microport inside. "This might be a data shard," he said. "It's all that's left of him." Jack gently pocketed it. "I'll find a way to read it." Outside, the guards were watching. Two tall aliens stood at a corner speaking in low voices. "Why is the human still going near the widow? He's asking questions just like her mate did. We should report him." "No, we do what we did before. Let the system break him." Back in the room, Sarvia leaned against Jack's arm. Her voice was soft. "My husband believed one day someone would help us. Someone who didn't care about species or status, just right and wrong." Jack didn't speak for a moment. Then he said, "He was right. I'm here now." Sarvia closed her eyes, and for the first time in many nights, she didn't cry. Jack faces the system. Jack stood outside the command tower the next morning, his jaw tight, hands gripping a small data chip, the one he pulled from Varen's pendant. The sky above the mining colony was always gray, filled with smoke and dust. But today it felt darker. He had made a choice. No more silence. Inside, the command room was filled with alien officers in polished uniforms. At the center was Supervisor Kor, an older alien with silver skin and sharp yellow eyes. He looked down at Jack like a bug on his boot. "What do you want, human?" Kor asked coldly. Jack placed the chip on the desk. "I believe this proves a murder," he said. "Varen's death wasn't an accident. He found something and they killed him for it." The room went quiet. Another officer laughed. "You bring us a broken trinket and expect us to start an investigation?" Jack didn't back down. "I also have logs showing a cover-up. Files deleted, access denied, a sealed shaft no one's allowed near." Kor's smile was thin. "Maybe you should stop asking questions, Jack. You're not from here. You don't understand how things work." "I understand enough," Jack said. "Someone let a mother and child suffer just to bury the truth." Kor leaned forward. "This is your final warning. Drop it or we'll ship you off this planet with no return." Jack stared back. "I'm not leaving." Later, Jack tried to contact Earth Command through a secure channel, but when he entered the communication center, his access was blocked. Access revoked. Someone had shut down his clearance. Jack's heart pounded. They were trying to erase him now, too. That night, he returned to Sarvia and Leo. The boy was drawing shapes on the wall with chalk. Sarvia looked stronger but still pale. "They know," Jack said quietly. "They're scared. That means we're close to the truth." Sarvia looked at him. "They'll try to break you like they broke him." Jack sat down. "They're already trying, but I'm not backing off." Leo tugged at Jack's sleeve. "Will they take you away?" Jack looked into his eyes. "Not if I move faster than them." The next morning, guards came to Jack's quarters. They found it empty. Jack had moved everything important to an old storage room. Tools, files, even a small backup transmitter he'd built long ago. It was slow, but it could send a message. Out, he sent a single short signal to Earth Command. "Illegal activity in Zone 9, human witness. Local leadership hiding a murder. I have data. Help us." He didn't know if it would reach anyone, but he had to try. Later that day, Kor made it official. Jack was removed from duty, fired, his pay cut off. The colony workers were warned not to speak to him, but Jack didn't care. He returned to Sarvia and Leo, shared what little food he had, and promised again, "We will finish what your husband started." But things got worse. 2 alien workers passed Jack in the corridor and spat at his boots. A warning was sprayed on the wall of Sarvia's room. "Traitor lover." The lights in their area flickered more than usual. And one morning, the water pipe was cut. Jack fixed it with his own hands. He was used to being hated, but now it wasn't just about him. They were hurting them to hurt him. Then came the final threat. That evening, Jack returned from scavenging food and found the door open. Leo was crying. Sarvia was shaking. A message had been burned into the wall by plasma. "Last chance, human. Leave or disappear like him." Jack's blood turned to ice. Sarvia held Leo close. Her voice was quiet but firm. "This is what they do. Make you afraid, make you small, until you vanish." Jack looked at the message. Then he looked at her. "No," he said. "I've faced war. I've faced hunger. I've faced death." Picked up the broken pendant again. "They want silence, we'll give them a voice instead." She tries to push him away. Rain never fell on the mining planet, but tonight it felt like it should. The wind outside howled across the metal colony walls. Inside the dark room, Sarvia sat awake, staring at the small flickering light. Jack was working quietly nearby, fixing a broken heater with scraped parts. Leo was finally asleep, his small hands wrapped around a ragged cloth doll. "Jack," Sarvia said, voice low. He looked up. "Yeah?" "You need to stop." Jack raised a brow. "Stop what?" She turned to face him. Her eyes were tired, not just from sickness, but from years of carrying pain alone. "Stop helping us." Jack blinked, surprised. Sarvia's voice shook. "They're going to kill you, you know it. They're watching us." And now you've lost your job, your room, your safety. All because of us. Jack sighed and put down his tools. You're not the reason I'm in danger, Sarvia. They are. You didn't fail, they did. I just chose to stand on the right side. She shook her head. But it's too much, you're human. You could leave. Go back to your world. Jack looked away for a moment. Then he quietly said, I did leave, a long time ago. Sarvia watched him. I was a soldier, Jack said. Earth lost that war. I lost my unit, lost my family. Since then I've been wandering jobs on different planets, just surviving. He looked back at her. Until I found a reason to care again. Sarvia stood up slowly. Her legs were weak, but she walked to him. She placed her hand on his chest. You don't owe us anything. Jack placed his hand over hers. No. But I still choose to stay. The next morning, Sarvia woke up early and quietly packed a small bag, just food, a blanket, and a canteen. She kissed Leo's forehead while he slept. Then she turned toward the door. She was leaving. She couldn't let Jack throw his life away for her. She opened the door slowly, but Jack was already standing outside. I figured you'd try this, he said softly. She looked down. Please. If I'm gone, they'll stop. You'll be safe. Jack stepped forward. And what about Leo? You think he'll be safe without you? Without me? Sarvia's lip trembled. I'm trying to protect you, she said. Jack's voice grew stronger. No, you're running, and I get it. You've been alone for too long, but not anymore. She closed her eyes, her body trembling. A single tear rolled down her cheek. I can't lose someone again. Jack placed his hands on her shoulders, then don't push me away. That night Leo woke up to find both of them sitting together near the warm pipe. Sarvia was leaning on Jack's shoulder. Her eyes were red but peaceful. Jack was holding a small light showing Leo a map of Earth. Is that your world? Leo asked, sleepy. Yeah, Jack said. Lots of trees, water, and places to play, and stars you can see clearly at night. Can we go there someday? Leo asked. Jack smiled. Maybe. But first we fix what's broken here. Sarvia looked at the stars outside the tiny window, and for the first time in years, she didn't feel alone. The next day, Jack found a technician he trusted, another human named Ava. He showed her the microchip. I need this read without anyone else knowing. Ava looked around. If you get caught, they'll throw you into deep space. Jack handed her a small packet of credits. I'll take the risk. That night, Ava returned with shaking hands. This data? Jack, your alien was right. The logs show illegal weapons, hidden trade routes, secret bribes. And guess who's signing them? Jack took the tablet and scrolled through the records. Supervisor, Core. His eyes narrowed. They killed Varen to protect this. Ava whispered. What are you going to do? Jack stared at the names. I'm going to finish what he started. Back at the shelter, Sarvia watched Leo draw pictures of stars. She looked at Jack. You're really not leaving, are you? Jack smiled. Not until this place changes. She placed her hand over his. And when it does? He looked into her eyes. Then we see what comes next. Together. A secret message from her husband. The night was silent. Jack sat beside an old console deep inside the storage room. The glow of the small screen lit his tired face. In his hand was Varen's pendant, the one that had nearly been lost forever. He'd finally connected it to the reader Ava gave him. A message blinked. On the screen. Private log, playback only. He clicked it, a flicker. Then, a voice. If you're seeing this, I'm already gone. Jack froze. It was a man's voice. Firm, yet gentle. Alien, but clear. Sarvia, sitting nearby, stood quickly. Her hands trembled as the voice played. Leo opened his eyes from his blanket. Papa. The message continued. They're hiding things, dangerous things in Shaft 9. Weapons, poisons, stolen tech from war zones. I tried to stop them. They said I was asking too much, that I knew too much. Jack leaned forward. I left a copy of the evidence with the old drill logs. It's not safe. But if Sarvia finds this, tell her I never wanted her to be alone. And tell our son. The voice cracked. Tell Leo to never stop believing there are good people, even humans. Especially humans. Sarvia fell to her knees, silent tears falling down her cheeks. Jack reached for her hand. She clutched it tightly. Leo crawled into her lap and whispered, "He didn't forget a—" "No, baby," Sarvia said. "He never did." The next day Jack left early. He snuck into the old drilling area. Most of it was sealed, but he used a maintenance pass from Ava. The place smelled like burnt oil and metal. His flashlight flickered against walls that hadn't been touched in years. He followed Varen's words. Near drill station 2, behind a rusted vent, he found an old toolbox. Inside, wrapped in a heat cloth, was a small black cube, data crystal, still intact. Back in the room, Ava helped unlock the cube. The screen filled with documents, shipment logs, transport codes, and proof of illegal trades. Worse, there were orders for silencers, not weapons, people, assassins. Jack stared at the files. One order was marked, "Eliminate, Varen." Zordel. Sarvia gasped. They had a name for it. They planned his death, Jack said. Documented it, like a package to be removed. Jack didn't wait. He sent the full files through his backup transmitter. A message went out. This, time stronger, full proof of murder and cover-up on mining colony VX9. Human witness, alien family in danger. Earth command, respond now. He didn't know if they'd come. But if they did, they'd have everything they needed. The next morning, sirens echoed. Not the colony alarms. A deep humming roar shook the skies above. Ava ran into the room. Ships, big ones, not from here. Jack rushed to the window. 3 massive Earth Command cruisers were descending. Colony guards began running, confused, and shouting. Supervisor Corps' voice rang through the speakers. "Remain in your quarters." "This is an unauthorized intrusion," Jack smiled. "No, Corps. This is justice arriving." Earth soldiers stormed the halls. They were fast, efficient, and armed with truth. Within hours, Supervisor Corps and 5 others were arrested. The files Jack uncovered were copied and sent directly to Earth courts. News spread like fire. Varen's name was cleared. Sarvia was declared a protected survivor. And Leo, he was now known as the boy who helped a human bring down corruption. That night, as quiet finally returned, Sarvia stood under the stars. Jack joined her, Leo asleep in his arms. "I thought I lost him forever," she said. Jack nodded. But he still spoke, even after death. Sarvia looked at Jack. "And now, you've given us a second life." Jack looked up at the stars. "And maybe it's time we build something better." She stood tall. Beside the human, for the first time in years, the colony gathered, not for labor, not for punishment, but to listen. In the center courtyard, under the wide metal dome, stood an Earth Command officer. He read from a pad. Varen. Zordel, wrongfully executed by corrupt officials, cause of death, planned assassination covered as workplace accident. Full justice granted posthumously. Investigation closed. Names cleared. Murmurs spread through the alien crowd. And then, they called Sarvia to speak. She stood slowly. The same woman who had once been sick, cold, and ignored was now standing before everyone. Tall, steady, proud. Her hand gripped Leo's, and Jack stood behind them. She stepped forward to the podium. Her voice, soft but firm, echoed through the mic. "My mate died not because of accident, but because he told the truth." Silence. For years I stayed silent, because fear is heavy, and loneliness is cruel. She paused, eyes locked on the alien crowd. "You all saw me suffer. You all walked past, and still, Only one person listened. She turned, pointing to Jack. A human, a stranger, who risked everything. Not for reward, not for praise, but because it was right. Jack lowered his head, humbled. Sarvia continued. We are not weak when we need help. We are weak when we refuse to give it. Then, she reached down, lifting Leo onto the stage. This is my son. He used to cry every night and because no one cared. Her voice trembled. But now he sleeps peacefully, because someone finally did. The crowd was quiet. Then someone clapped. Another followed. Soon the entire dome echoed with applause. For Sarvia, for Varen, for Jack, for the truth. After the ceremony, Jack walked quietly toward the edge of the colony. The sun was low. The sky was painted in colors he didn't see often on this dusty planet. Sarvia joined him. You were going to leave, weren't you? She asked softly. Jack looked down. I thought maybe my part was done. She smiled. You think justice is all we needed? Jack looked at her. You have it now. The colony will protect you. Earth Command will watch. Sarvia stepped closer. We don't just need protection, Jack. She placed her hand on his arm. We need you. Leo ran up and grabbed Jack's leg. Are we going to Earth now? He asked, eyes hopeful. Jack knelt down. One day, maybe. Leo smiled. I want to plant a tree there. One for Papa, one for Mama, and one for you. Jack blinked hard and ruffled the boy's hair. I'd like that. Weeks passed. Jack didn't leave. He took a small engineering job, official this time. He helped rebuild the broken parts of the colony, fixed heating, opened schools, spoke at community halls, and every evening he returned to the same small home, where Leo waited with stories, where Sarvia waited with warmth, where silence had been replaced with laughter. One night, under the stars, Sarvia sat beside Jack on a quiet hill. He would have liked you, she said softly. Varen? Jack looked at her. I hope so. She looked at him carefully. He was my past. But I want to know if you might be my future. Jack was silent. Then he reached for her hand. I'd like to try. As the stars twinkled above, the woman who once begged for help now smiled beside the man who had answered her whisper. And far below, inside a rebuilt colony, a child dreamed, not of pain or loss, but of trees, stars, and peace. The end.